Hi everyone, this video is just going to be a quick one, a time-lapse painting of me drawing some female faces, or sort of doing a digital sketch of them, from the front view in this case. It's something that I'm trying to practice, drawing faces in general, as it's just something I would like to get better at and it's something that I struggle with. So I did actually have reference loaded up for each one of these three images that I draw, but I wasn't following them exactly. I was sort of using the Andrew Loomis drawing ahead method, which consists of things such as starting with a sphere and slicing off a plate either side, equal distance from bottom of the chin to the nose, from the nose to the eyebrows to the hairline, things like this, which you'll actually see me do before I draw each face. I draw it as like a template or maybe some construction lines, and I do that on a layer, and then I actually do the main face, drawing in the features and sort of going over it on a layer above, so that I can just hide the layer below. It just makes things a lot easier if you're working digitally like that. You'll also notice I started with a white background. I was just going to sketch just literally with a black pencil tool, which you can see how to make that brush in one of my other videos, so I'll put a link on screen for that now. But I started with a white background, and I decided I'd try and go a little bit more detailed with this, and I'd put a grey sort of mid-tone background on, and that meant that I could, as well as adding shade into it, I could actually add highlights just using a white, and it means I can add a bit more detail to it like that, so I decided to give it a go. I will point out straight away that the first face that I did didn't look all that great. There was something slightly off about it. I couldn't figure out what it was. I'm not sure if it was the jawline or if I'd stretched the face out too much. So the first one I wasn't really happy with, but the other two I was. Although, that being said, they didn't actually look that much like sort of like the reference image, but I wasn't too bothered about that. As I say, I started with the template using the Andrew Loomis method, and then I sort of just adjusted it slightly to match the reference a little bit more. So it does resemble them, but it doesn't look exactly like them. Something I find really difficult to draw is what I'm doing here. It's the actual drawing the teeth, which I don't know why, but it's just, I find it very difficult to draw teeth without making them look ridiculously goofy. So, but coincidentally, I think all three of these images that I draw end up showing the teeth, so maybe not the best choice of images for me to choose, but it's all practice, so it's all good, and I think they turned out alright as well. As far as painting hair or drawing hair, I do find it hard to sort of sketch and shade. Like, the method that I'm using for shading here is like cross-hatching. Now if you do that on hair against strands of hair, it doesn't seem to look right, so I just made the pencil brush slightly bigger to block in a bit of a darker tone first, and then I just tried adding some single strokes to give the impression of hair. On this second image that I'm drawing here, it doesn't look all that great, but it's acceptable. It could have been worse. I think the third one looks a little bit better. So you can see me drawing the template now for the third face. Pretty much very similar to the same as what I've drawn for the other two faces as well. I think that the first face that I drew took about an hour, the second one maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, and this third one maybe a little bit over 3 hours, over 2 hours, sorry. So it does kind of show, seeing as I spent half the time on the first one, that one didn't turn out right. I should have probably stuck to it, maybe adjusted it more, fixed it up a bit. A little bit too late now, but I'm happy with this last one. Was my favourite. This one turned out the best, and even looked the most like the reference that I was following. One thing that I find really helps sort of bring a face to life and make it look more realistic, and just generally adds a lot of detail, is on the eyes, which I'm working on, as you can see here. Adding a white highlight to them really just improves the overall look, in my opinion, and it's one of them things where less is more. So you don't want to overdo it and do a huge highlight. I mean, on this face here, they are pretty big highlights, but so I wouldn't go any more than that, but it really does improve the overall image. I don't think I show it in the video, but if I was to hide the layer that's got them on, the highlights on, straight away it looks so different. So always remember to do the highlights. And yeah, that's pretty much it really. So here I am, just drawing it from the front view. I think if I was going to do a side view or a 3/4 view, I would definitely struggle a lot more with a 3/4 view. It'd probably take me a lot longer. For me, the main problem I have is eyes. It's not that I can't draw a single eye, but it's from the front view I normally struggle to get the eyes almost identical to match up. Do you know what I mean? I normally sort of make one a bit bigger, one in a slightly different position, something like that, which always spoils it, a lot really. But that's sort of why it's important to use construction lines, or why I find it important to use construction lines. Some people prefer to work without them, so that's fair enough. And I will put an image of this on my DeviantArt as well for those who want to see it again, the finished image. I do flash it up at the end of the video in a second, but there is a link to my DeviantArt in the description, so please do check it out. And if you do use DeviantArt, please do give me a follow or a watch on there. And yeah, cheers guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscription button at the bottom of the screen. You can also see some of my other videos by clicking the video links on screen now. Links to my Facebook and DeviantArt can be found in the description box. Thanks for watching.